Ever feel like the world's selling you a damn fairy tale about women? This delicate flower, this beacon of pure light? Bullshit. Nietzsche, that glorious bastard of a philosopher, saw right through the saccharine coating. He wasn't some incel keyboard warrior, he was dissecting the very nature of power, and guess what? Women, just like men, are players in that game. Don't get it twisted, this isn't about some simplistic battle of the sexes. It's about ripping away the comfortable lies we tell ourselves. Think about it. How many times have you heard some dude whine about being friend-zoned? As if a woman owes him something for his pathetic attempts at charm. Nietzsche would scoff. He'd see the underlying power play, the expectation, the entitlement. And on the flip side, how many times have you seen women expertly navigate social dynamics, wielding their influence with a finesse that would make Machiavelli blush? We all do it. It's human. But the pretty stories we like to tell ourselves? They conveniently leave out the messy, complicated truth. We're sold this image of inherent goodness, inherent weakness, inherent anything based on gender, and Nietzsche's work throws a massive wrench in that rusty machine. Forget the pedestal. Forget the damsel in distress. We're talking about beings with wills, with desires, with the capacity for both incredible creation and utter destruction. Sound familiar? Yeah, because you're one of them. You feel that flicker of recognition, that little voice inside that whispers, yeah, there's more to it than the greeting card version. Good. That's where we start. We're not here for comfort, we're here for the uncomfortable truth. And trust me, it's a hell of a lot more interesting. Now, before anyone starts screaming about misogyny, let's get one thing crystal clear. Nietzsche wasn't hating on women. He was hating on the illusions surrounding them, the societal constructs that box everyone in. Think of it like this. You see a shiny new gadget advertised, all sleek and perfect. Then you actually use it and it's glitchy, the battery dies fast, and it doesn't quite live up to the hype. Nietzsche was looking at the woman construct and saying, hold on a minute. That ain't the full picture. He saw the will to power in everyone, that fundamental drive to exert influence, to overcome obstacles, to be. And to pretend that one half of humanity is somehow exempt from this primal force is not only naive, it's insulting. It denies their agency, their complexity. Ever been in a situation where someone underestimated you because of your gender? That simmering rage you felt? That's the will to power kicking in, screaming, I am more than your limited perception. Nietzsche tapped into that raw energy. He saw the subtle manipulations, the unspoken desires, the strategic moves that are part of human interaction, regardless of who's playing the game. And the societal pressure to conform to these idealized roles? He'd see that as a form of oppression, a way to control and limit potential. It's like being told you can only paint with 3 colors when the entire spectrum is available. You feel that restriction, that sense of something vital being suppressed. We all do in different ways. The point is, Nietzsche wasn't trying to tear anyone down. He was trying to tear down the damn walls we build around each other, based on flimsy, outdated ideas. So what did this harsh truth actually look like through Nietzsche's lens? He often spoke of the eternal feminine, not as some ethereal ideal, but as a powerful, often unconscious force. Think of the way societal expectations box women into roles of nurturer, caregiver, the emotional backbone. Now, is there strength in these roles? Absolutely. But Nietzsche would ask, is that all there is? Is that the full extent of their will, their potential? He saw the cunning, the strategic intelligence that often operates beneath the surface of these prescribed roles. It's like watching a chess grandmaster who seems to be playing passively, only to unleash a devastating checkmate 3 moves later. The power was always there, just not always acknowledged or understood within the conventional framework. And let's be honest, haven't you seen that in action? The subtle influence, the emotional leverage, the way needs are met and desires are achieved without a direct confrontation? It's a different kind of power, perhaps, but power nonetheless. Nietzsche wasn't afraid to point out the contradictions, the complexities. He saw the seductive allure, the ability to inspire great heights and plunge into devastating depths. It's that raw, untamed energy that the pretty narratives often try to sanitize. He wasn't saying women are inherently one thing or another. He was saying they are human, with all the glorious contradictions and potential for both saintliness and savagery that comes with it. Now, let's get into the really juicy stuff. Nietzsche's observations on the relationship between men and women. He saw it as a constant dance of power, a push and pull driven by the fundamental will to overcome. Forget the romantic comedies where everything is sweetness and light. Nietzsche saw the underlying negotiations, the subtle battles for dominance, the way desires intertwine and clash. Think about your own relationships, past or present. Haven't there been moments of unspoken tension, of trying to understand the other's motivations, of navigating different needs and desires? That's the will to power playing out on a personal level. He wasn't being cynical, he was being brutally honest about the complexities of human connection. The ideal of perfect harmony, the soulmate myth, Nietzsche would likely see those as comforting illusions that obscure the real dynamics at play. It's like watching a nature documentary. There's beauty, sure, but there's also the constant struggle for survival, the predator and prey. Human relationships, in his view, weren't exempt from this fundamental tension. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be the source of incredible passion, of growth, of pushing each other to become more. But ignoring this underlying dynamic, pretending it doesn't exist, is like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. It's going to crumble eventually. Nietzsche's work forces us to confront the messy reality of our interactions, to see beyond the idealized versions and understand the deeper currents at play. But here's the kicker, the part that often gets overlooked. Nietzsche's critique wasn't just aimed at societal perceptions of women. It was aimed at everyone. He was railing against the herd mentality, the comfortable conformity that stifles individual potential. The idealized woman, just like the idealized man, is a product of this societal pressure, a way of keeping everyone in their assigned boxes. Think about the pressure to be a good woman, docile, nurturing, self-sacrificing. Nietzsche would see the inherent limitations in that expectation, the way it can crush a woman's individual will and ambition. And the pressure on men to be stoic, strong, the provider? He'd see the same trap, the denial of vulnerability and emotional depth. The harsh truth, then, isn't just about women, it's about the human condition. It's about the courage to break free from these limiting societal scripts and embrace our own unique, messy, powerful selves. It's about rejecting the comfortable lies that keep us small and stepping into our full potential, regardless of gender. You feel that yearning, that desire to be truly seen, truly understood, beyond the superficial labels? That's Nietzsche speaking to something deep within you, urging you to break free. Ultimately, despite his sometimes provocative language, Nietzsche wasn't advocating for division or hatred. He was pushing for a deeper, more honest understanding of human nature, in all its complexity. And that understanding, paradoxically, can lead to greater empathy and connection. When we strip away the illusions, the idealized images, we see each other as flawed, striving, powerful beings, all navigating this messy thing called life. Think about the freedom that comes with dropping the act, with not having to conform to some prepackaged ideal of what a man or a woman should be. That's where true connection can begin, in that space of raw honesty and acceptance. The harsh truth can be liberating. It allows us to forgive the limitations and the imperfections we see in ourselves and in others. It fosters a sense of shared humanity, a recognition that we're all in this together, grappling with our wills, our desires, our fears. And in that shared struggle, there's a profound sense of unity. So let's drop the damn fairy tales. Let's embrace the complexity, the contradictions, the raw power within ourselves and within each other. Because in the truth, however harsh it may seem at first, lies the potential for genuine understanding, genuine connection, and yes, even genuine love. We're all human, striving, and capable of so much more than the simplistic stories we've been told. It's time to write our own damn narrative. The idea that women are somehow inherently more moral or nurturing than men. Nietzsche would have snorted so hard he'd dislocate a rib. He saw morality not as some divine decree etched in stone, but as a social construct, a tool used by the powerful to control the less powerful. And guess what? Women have historically been on both sides of that equation. Think about the traditional roles assigned to women. The keepers of the home, the educators of children. These roles often came with a heavy dose of moral expectation. But was this inherent goodness, or a strategic necessity within a patriarchal structure? Nietzsche would argue the latter. He saw the subtle ways in which these moral expectations could be used to limit women's ambitions, to keep them confined to a certain sphere. It's like praising a bird for its beautiful singing while keeping it locked in a cage. The beauty might be real, but the confinement is the underlying truth. And on the flip side, haven't you seen women wield morality as a weapon, using guilt and social pressure to get what they want? It's a human tactic, not a gender-specific trait. Nietzsche's point wasn't to demonize anyone, but to strip away the sentimental nonsense and see the raw power dynamics at play, even within the realm of morality. Let's talk about love. That gooey, saccharine emotion that poets and songwriters have been obsessing over for centuries. Nietzsche, ever the iconoclast, had a rather unromantic view. He saw much of what we call love as a form of mutual exploitation, a temporary alliance of two egoisms. What's right? But think about it. How often is love truly selfless? Isn't there always a desire for something in return? Affection, validation, companionship, even just the alleviation of loneliness? Nietzsche wasn't saying that connection is impossible, but he was wary of the idealized, Disney-fied version of love that society peddles. He saw the power struggles inherent in romantic relationships, the subtle and not so subtle attempts to control and be controlled. It's like two wrestlers locked in a seemingly intimate embrace, each trying to gain the upper hand. The passion might be real, but the underlying dynamic is one of force and counterforce. And the societal pressure to find the one, the soulmate who will complete you? Nietzsche would likely see that as another way to limit individual potential, to make people feel incomplete on their own. True connection, for him, likely came from a place of individual strength and self-sufficiency, not from a desperate need to fill a void. Nietzsche was obsessed with truth itself, but not in the way you might think. He didn't believe in some absolute, objective truth handed down from on high. Instead, he saw truth as a human construct, a perspective shaped by our individual and collective wills. And when it comes to women, the truths we tell ourselves are often particularly loaded. Think about the historical narratives that have defined women's roles, their capabilities, their very nature. These weren't objective facts. They were stories created and perpetuated by those in power. And these truths have had very real consequences, limiting opportunities, silencing voices, and shaping perceptions for centuries. Nietzsche would urge us to question these established truths, to dig beneath the surface and examine the power dynamics that created them. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, each layer revealing a different perspective, a different agenda. There's no single, perfect core, just a series of interconnected layers. And when it comes to understanding women, and frankly anyone, accepting the multiplicity of perspectives, the subjective nature of truth is crucial. Society often presents a very narrow definition of what constitutes a strong woman, or a strong man for that matter. It's often associated with aggression, dominance, a kind of masculine energy. Nietzsche, however, saw strength in a much broader sense. He admired the will to overcome, the ability to endure, the creative force that drives individuals to become more. And in his writings, you can find glimpses of admiration for women who defied societal expectations, who possessed a fierce independence and a powerful will, even if it manifested in ways that weren't traditionally masculine. Think about the quiet resilience of someone who perseveres through hardship, the creative power of an artist who brings something new into the world, the intellectual fortitude of someone who challenges conventional wisdom. These are all forms of strength, and they are not limited by gender. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, the individual who transcends societal limitations and creates their own values, is an ideal that applies to everyone, regardless of whether they wear pants or a dress. True strength for Nietzsche came from within, from the unwavering affirmation of one's own will and the courageous pursuit of one's own becoming. Now let's talk about masks. Nietzsche was fascinated by the masks we all wear, the roles we play in society. He didn't see these masks as inherently deceptive. Rather, they were a necessary part of social interaction, a way of navigating complex relationships and societal expectations. But when it comes to women, the pressure to wear certain masks has historically been particularly intense. Think about the expectation to be agreeable, to be pleasing, to suppress any unfeminine traits. Nietzsche would see the potential for both power and oppression in these masks. They can be a form of protection, a way to navigate a hostile world. But they can also be a cage, preventing the true self from emerging. The challenge, as Nietzsche saw it, was to become the master of your own masks, to choose them consciously rather than being defined by them. It's like being an actor who understands the role so deeply that they can inhabit it fully without losing their own identity. The mask becomes a tool, not a prison. And recognizing the masks that others wear, the roles they are playing, can lead to a deeper understanding of their motivations and their struggles. Ultimately, Nietzsche's harsh truth about women and about humanity in general wasn't meant to be a final judgment, but a call to awakening. It was a challenge to look beyond the superficial narratives, the comfortable illusions, and to confront the complex, often contradictory reality of human existence. And within that confrontation lies the potential for genuine growth, for breaking free from limiting beliefs and societal expectations. It's about embracing the full spectrum of human potential, in all its messy glory regardless of gender. Think about the liberation that comes from accepting yourself and others, flaws and all. It's a move away from judgment and towards understanding, towards a deeper appreciation for the unique will and power that resides in every individual. Nietzsche's work, while sometimes unsettling, ultimately points towards a future where individuals are not confined by outdated categories, but are free to become who they truly are. And in that freedom, there is a profound and enduring kind of love and unity, not based on idealized notions, but on a genuine recognition of our shared humanity and our individual striving.